And we are back with another rousing episode of Eco Boys. We have Thomas and Big Nick, and Gus is over there doing something, chewing on something, who knows. So we have a really cool addition today because we found something extremely cool in our garden. So say hello to Prenolepis imparis. I know that I'm saying it wrong, so those of you who are ant keepers, much more experienced than I am will definitely correct me on this. But Thomas, what's the more common name for that type of ant?
Honey pot ant.
A honeypot ant. So we were out today, and what was really cool about this honeypot ant is we found a queen. And what's particularly interesting about this species, Nicholas?
Well, they're actually the first ant species to have their nuptial flight in spring, which is why we're able to find one.
Exactly. So most ants will start in around May, June, and into July, the warmer months, especially we're in Canada, but also in parts of the United States as well. They'll have their nuptial flights a little later in the year. But the cool thing about the honeypot ants, or the winter ants, is that they will actually come out of the ground earlier. They actually like temperatures even close to freezing. So they're oftentimes the first ones that you'll see. We happen to find this one right over there on the edge of the garden, right by Thomas's foot, actually. And she was just crawling around, and she had a few workers around her. We gathered a few of them. And Thomas, hold up that setup that we have. What's that setup called? What's it made from?
A plastic tube and 2 cotton balls.
Okay.
And some water at the end you can see there.
Yeah, well, it's actually glass, but you can see the queen is right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's the bigger one that's obviously much bigger than the workers. Okay, you guys step back for a little bit. So the interesting thing about the queen is that she still has her wings. So oftentimes the queen at this time of year will have her wings so that she can make a flight, a nuptial flight it's called, and she can find mates. And that's probably the best time for us to look for ants. Now, we happen to luck out and find ours in the early afternoon, but I'm told that early in the morning and late in the day might even be better than that to find these ants. So the setup we have is called a test tube setup. It's a very classic setup for those people who are into keeping ants. And basically it just consists of a test tube that is around a half filled with water. And the other half is obviously the part where the ants will begin their colony. The queen ant will begin its colony. And it's secured on both sides by cotton. And the cotton will absorb the water and provide water for the colony. Now, as the colony starts to grow and it has workers, which this one has 2 workers, what does it need, Thomas, in order to survive?
Nutrients and some like honey, water, and a lot of nutrients provided by insects and other like types of things.
Right, exactly. So if you want to start one on your own, it's really important that you're feeding and taking care of the critters that you have, or else it's much better to keep them in their environment. Now, luckily, we did a lot of research on this, so we're pretty confident that we can take care of it. Now, what it needs, like Thomas said, is nutrients in the way of protein. So once it has some workers, the queen needs some protein. Before that, most queens don't. Some need a little bit of protein, but most queens don't. They just need honey and some sugared water. And then there are other types of queens from species that don't need anything at all. They can just survive with the water that they have, and that's all that they need until they start their first neonates, which are the very first workers. So we'll hope to update you on this pretty soon. She doesn't have a brood yet, so there are no larvae, there are no eggs in the test tube yet, but we hope in the next week or 2 that we'll start to see it. And we will update you in episode 2 of the Ant Challenge. Okay, guys, what do you want to say to everybody before we say goodbye?
Always consider hitting the like button and subscribing.
Subscribe button.
Okay, well, that wasn't quite in unison, but we'll take it. Okay, so definitely like the video, share the video with your friends and family, and definitely hit subscribe. Okay, see you later, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.